Got drainage. You can be the sneak.
I want to welcome everybody to On the Spot Motorsports Media. We got Greg Blevins joining us. He is the LDR World Champion. But first, before we get into the interview, we have a few messages, and we'll be right back after this.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit. We'll protect it.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
60 years of innovation, 60 years of attention to detail, 60 years of rigorous testing under race conditions is what makes ATI Performance Products great. ATI has been helping racers like you reach the finish line first. Today, we manufacture a wide range of high-performance parts that are track-tested and race-proven. We're passionate about performance, and that passion is what drives you to the finish line first. See everything ATI has to offer at ATIRacing.com.
Greg, I want to thank you for joining us tonight for the podcast and talk about your World Championship and the LDR class.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Greg, I want to thank you for joining us. You got a little bit of backfeed there, Robert. Podcast and talk about your World Championship and the LDR class. Everyone just bear with us. We got a little bit of a echo.
How about now?
You sound good. I think it's on Robert's end. But first of all, I want to apologize how the intro came in. For some reason, my mouse would not move and let me get to where I needed to get. But hey, this is live, so things like that's going to happen.
For sure.
So first of all, one of the things we would like to talk about tonight, tell us a little bit about you and how you became part of drag racing and how it became part of your life.
All right. I've been around cars my whole life. Honestly, my dad and grandfather, I kind of grew up around cars. Went to school in old muscle cars, as a lot of guys in the racing industry have. That kind of got the bug going, back when I was a youngster. And then I started racing on the street. Or just, playing, if you want to call it that. But that thing just one led to another. And then next thing you know, I think in 1993, I started racing professionally with the NMCA. And that's where it really, competing with those guys, like Tim Lynch and Billy Glidden and people like that. Back then, it kind of really got the bug in me deep. And it just made me just go haywire to where I am today.
It's very funny. I think all of us that race on the tracks now, we started out in the early days of racing friends and foes on the street and just, got deeper involved in drag racing and actually got smarter and started doing it in a closed environment on the track. And I tell you, you've been around a little while, like you said, running NMRA and NMCA and running the 10.5 class. What led you to start running at Ducks races?
actually, when I was racing NMRA and as you mentioned, in the NMCA and running Pro 50, and I got burned out. I'll be honest with you. We started with a new car and just ran it for a long time. It's under the car built by Steve Greback back then, and had a lot of success and raced the point series and just got burned out traveling. And we were struggling at the end there with just trying to keep parts together. And we were just a little bit behind the 8 ball, I felt like, and it just was time to step away for a minute. And then as I was doing that and coaching softball, as I'd mentioned to you before, it was just too much on my plate. Wife's like, man, you got to pick a lane here. You're never home, And so I did the softball stuff for a little bit. And then, I don't know, I just kind of started watching some of the duck stuff. And man, I'm like, God, got the itch again to go racing, seeing the competition. And really the radio stuff intrigued me a little bit from the 10.5, Outlaw 10.5 tire. We raced on a 33 10.5W for a long time. And the radio stuff, I'm like, God, these guys are flying on this radio prep. And it just, I started watching for a couple of years, and I'm like, all right, it's time. I got to get the team back together, if you will, some guys, and get back out there.
Well, if you look back, you were at No Mercy, I think 13 a few years ago, 2022.
Yep.
You were able to get in the 3-second zone. You ran I want to say a 390, a 398 at 189 miles an hour. And just go to show you, the technology has done so well over the years to be able to run on those small drag radials. 89 miles an hour.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a deal where it's very challenging. Obviously, I was one of the guys that, like I told my wife, I said, I'm not going to do it unless I do it right. And so I started to do my research on what team, who I wanted as a tuner. That was a big part of it. Like who I felt was going to be the guy behind me that was going to make all the right calls, and really putting a lot of confidence in him. And so I did all that before even buying the Mustang that you mentioned. I bought the car, but in doing that, I reached out to Jamie Miller. That's who I ended up reaching out to, and had some nice conversations with him. He didn't know me. I didn't know him. I talked to him about the car because he had worked on the car a little bit, and just asked him his, honest opinion. And so we hashed all that out. And then, I met him at, like you said, Lights Out 13. I literally met him at the track. I showed up with my wife my wife, I didn't have a whole team with me. I had my wife, and guys were coming in as we got there. And I mean, me and Jamie literally met, and it was like, this is the guy for me. I mean, I liked his personality. I loved how he went about his business, and his whole entire staff, the Redhead Mafia. They're unbelievable what they bring to the table. And as a driver and a team owner, it was just comfort from day one. And it was just like, it was a perfect fit for me.
Now, tell us a little bit about the car that you're driving now. I know it's a Pro Line engine. Now, what are you using as a power adder? I wanted you to go and explain that.
Yeah. So the car, it's a funny story about this car, actually. I tried to buy this car while I was racing the Mustang, the white Mustang, and he didn't want to sell the car. And it was funny because that car was built by Skinny Kid Race Cars, 20 minutes from my house. So I was able to watch that car be built there, right alongside of Kenny Catuccio's Corvette. And the other side of that car was, at the time, Josh Kluger's, which now is Bobby Clayton's car, the Mustang, the Eleanor lookalike Pro 275 car. I watched all three of those cars be built. So I was, in tail, I knew what that car was before trying to buy it. And when he didn't want to sell it, I was like, all right, so kept going forward. And then he called me and said, hey, I'm going to sell the car. So it's a Pro Line built motor, Hemi, MH5. I went with the Pro Charger. It has the 140 on it. We're running M&M Mark Mickey's Transit converter in the car. Fuel Tech, of course, and it's one of those deals. I had to have the car converted because I bought it as a rolling chassis. When I bought it from James Lawrence, so I took the car to Modern Racing. Justin Elks over there, Jamie had recommended to have them convert the car to a Hemi because it was built for a Pro Charger big block Chevy originally. So we converted, had them convert the car, and again, another blessing in disguise right there because they're like a one-stop shop. They can do everything. I mean, wiring, plumbing, paint, build a car, whatever it needs, they can do it. And that was just an awesome fit for me as well.
Well, it's funny that you talk about, they also all the way down to the paint. Man, this car is just beautiful. I mean, you could just take this thing off the trailer and park it at any car show and probably walk away with best of show at every event. Tell us a little bit about the color and how that came about, because it looks like it's got a little bit of a pearl in it when the lights hits it.
Yeah, so the car was originally painted by Alan Pennywitt, which is local to me as well. And Alan's been known in my area for building some really cool cars, him and his brother Steve. But the paint work that he does is, as you can see, I mean, it's a race car, but it looks like a show car. He's not cheap, but nowadays, is anybody? You know what I mean? If you do quality work, I'm okay with it. But yeah, so it's a special House of Colors color. I know he put that color together. It's kind of like a one-off deal. And I can't even tell you the name of it off the top of my head. And I know you were going to ask me that, but it's a one-off House of Colors that he put together. And it is a stage 1 paint. So it is easily to match, if especially being a race car, if you get a nick or a chip or something like that. And my guys are pretty careful, and I'm pretty OCD about that stuff. But I have had it touched up because I can't stand to have a little crack or, as you've seen it in person. I got to have it. I got to have it right. Got to look good, feel good, run good, kind of one of them things.
Exactly. And I tell you, I mean, it stands out. And, a lot of people nowadays, they just take the car in and they get it wrapped and take it to the track and race. And just for you to be able to paint your car kind of reminds me of old school, before all the wraps and stuff came out. Everybody had all the wild colors on their car, and they were painted. Now you have the wraps, but to me, the wraps just don't have the luxury of what a paint job offers.
I agree. I wanted that car to be my whole intention with that car when I first saw it. When James Lawrence owned it, that's who the car was originally built for. It was very simple, right? Very simple, and just detail, like unbelievable. The car's got tremendous detail in it. And that's one of the other things that drew me to that car. And the car has been phenomenal. Jamie and Jimbo and Johnny Miller, all the entire, Redhead Mafia guys have been working on that car. And Jimbo's been on that car since day one, and Johnny. And it's been a great, I use Jamie's word here, but it's been a weapon. It really has. It's been a weapon since day one. It's been a piece that he was happy with it as soon as we got it. He was like, oh, this thing's going to be a bad SOB.
Right. Well, I want to bring Robert back in. He was having a couple technical difficulties, and we're going to see if they got straightened out, because I know he's got a ton of questions for you as well, because we're going to try to dive into the rules a little bit and have you kind of explain the class rules, because I think it's very important to hit on those things. I know a lot of people comes to Ducks races and they sit up in the stands and they just are watching the fast cars go down the track, and they really don't quite understand each of the classes and everything that it in details to. And I think them are very important components that need to be explained. So
Sure.
We can educate people so they'll know what they're actually looking at when they're at the drag strip.
Absolutely.
I apologize, guys. As you know, we were talking behind the scenes, no problem. Mitchell said go, and everything went. So I apologize about that. So I
No problem.
had to deep six everything, and I'm on my phone. So it is what it is. But I have been listening, if you can believe that, through all the echo and things. And like Mitchell mentioned, it's amazing the weapon that you have, as to quote you, and to say it's a showstopper is an understatement, and it is absolutely amazing. Now, going on with LDR, with your amazing year that you've had, I've seen the different series and stuff like that have slightly different rules, but what's the best way that you can describe the LDR class as far as rules?
Oh, basically, the LDR, if you're going to compare it to, let's say, Pro 275, if you will, we run a bigger tire. We're allowed a 295 tire versus a 275. We're a ton heavier. Like, you could have the same combo in Pro 275, and I believe, don't quote me, but I think I can weigh 2775 in Pro 275, and we have to weigh 3340 in LDR, which is a boatload, basically a boatload of weight in difference. Steel roof and quarters we have to have. You got to have steel roof and quarters, and you got to have like a bolt-in front frame. You can't have like a whole double frame rail, if you will. If you got to have it where the front, like a Smith's Racecraft makes the bolt-in deal, which is kind of like what we have in our car, and or you got to have some part of the frame rail to the center of the spindle in the front. It's kind of a mandatory thing in LDR as well. That's just a couple of the things. Another rule that we can't have in LDR that Pro, let's say, because we're comparing those two classes, they can have a 140-1. We're not allowed to have that. We're allowed to have an F4 140, but not a -1.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So there's a few little things like that. Could my car be converted over to Pro 275? It very well could be, and go in there and compete with those guys. But then again, still roof and quarter car. You're going to go in with some, there's some beautiful cars in Pro 275 as well. But I just feel like the LDR class in whole has got a group of awesome racers to deal with. Their family, that they're all people that we deal with. They're awesome. The cars that are in that class are, like you said, showstoppers. There's a bunch of beautiful cars in that class that draw the crowd to that class. And I think the biggest thing about that class is people can relate to it. You know what I'm saying? They can relate to it we're a pro mod. They're kind of like, it looks like a Camaro or a Mustang or whatever, but it ain't that. Well, I went to school in that type of car, you know what I mean? Or something I would see driving down the road kind of thing. So that's kind of what I think draws people to that class. I
can see what you're saying, because I've seen Gen 1 Camaros like what you had. I've seen a late model Cadillac. I've seen G-body Buicks, G-body Monte Carlos, of course, late model Mustangs, and everything in between, late model Challenger and stuff. And just like you said, every one of them, different power combinations that I see, a wide variety for everything from screw blowers to turbos to pro chargers like yourselves, and everybody putting down very, very, well, at least what I saw with the Bama races and other things, very close times, less than a tenth.
Oh yeah. We're down. I think the top 16 cars at one point were, man, they were like, I think the top 8 were like within thousands of each other. They were so tight.
Right.
And all different power adders. Like Zip Hudson's a small block, single turbo. You got Henderson's car, blown, screw blower deal in there. You got my car, Pro Charger car in there. You got 481X twin turbo Ernie Dampierre. He's been extremely fast in that class. You got Hubbard small block Pro Charger. There's just a boatload, and then you got big block Chevy, Shane Stack twin turbo car.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of killers in that class. You cannot take nobody for granted.
Do y'all still have weight brakes with transmissions, or no weight brakes with transmissions?
It depends. Yeah, we can't. We're not allowed to lock up. Like nitrous cars are allowed. And then you got nitrous cars in there flying too. Hancock is proven he's a champion, and he's been mid-80s. But every combination is a little bit different. But I know the turbo car and the Pro Charger car, we're not allowed lockups in our cars.
Okay. Because like I said, going over and looking at different rules for different organizations, I know you run with the Radial Outlaws, but looking at the others, over the years, you've seen how some of the rules have changed and, like you said, varied a little bit. And that's why, thank you for clarifying, because that definitely helps. So you could definitely tell the distinguish, like you said, from Extreme 275 to RVWs and stuff like that compared to an LDR. So so that's what drew. Is that what drew you towards it? Is how the cars looked? Yeah,
honestly, it was. I think the cars could relate to stuff that I'd already had in the past, and like we talked about offline there. About I'm a big muscle car guy. I've been around muscle cars my whole life, and to see the variety of cars and the quality of the teams that are racing in that class. I think the Lights Out 13 he mentioned. I think there was 46 cars, I think, at the first race I ever went to for LDR. And it was like, holy crap. Reminded me of the old Orlando days back when, the Super Street, back in the years and years and years ago when we used to go with my car that Grebeck built, there'd be 55, 60 cars show up for Super Street. It was crazy. And that's the draw.
Okay. Well, I know, no mercies now on the books, but, we have Lights Out coming up in February. And I tell you, if people came and watched y'all at No Mercy, they've got to come back and watch y'all in February if it was their first time, because the weather's going to be cooler. Hey, cars will make more horsepower. The track's going to be a little tighter.
Oh, yeah.
And y'all are definitely going to probably be flying probably better than 2 to 3 tenths faster.
It's crazy. The technology nowadays is unreal. We talk about it every day, every race. You know, we're gearing up right now, heading to Orlando. Truck and trailer is already down there, so I'll be heading down there first of the week to get ready for the first race of 2025 season. And again, you got to go in there with like both barrels blazing, man, right from the get.
Right. Now, do you see pretty much how they're keeping all the different power outers in check as far as a balance between? Because I heard what you said as far as the different combinations all running pretty close to each other. But is it pretty much that way, or is it obviously whenever we have off weather that this combination just dominates through the middle of the summer? And
you know, I get asked that a lot, to be honest with you. I think they've done a good job. Okay, we were 31-15 last year. They put 225 pounds on us for 2024. And we were like, holy smokes, you know. But again, you know, the good teams, like I talked about earlier, they just put their head down, right, and hit the grindstone, and just we went testing and tested. And a lot of stuff didn't work, you know. And again, I give all the credit to my team, Jamie and the guys. They're just innovators, always trying to, you know, rethink the wheel, but not reinvent the wheel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And just kept trying to say, hey, we got it. You know, it sucked because it slowed us down. It slowed everybody down that got weight. But, you know, again, you've seen all those teams, you know, persevere at the end and start coming back and running really well anyway. But it's just one of those things. I don't know. I think the combination for the rules they have right now, they're obviously close because you see the cars are running that close in all different kind of combinations, and anybody can win. I mean, we've seen that. And I think you saw this year, nobody doubled up. I take that back. I think Hubbard did. I take that back. Hubbard, I think he won Rockingham, and then he won the Nocturnal. So I'll retract that statement. But again, a lot of new you know, guys won this year that, you know, you didn't have one combination just dominating.
Gotcha. Okay, that totally makes sense, because that's something I've seen over the years. I know you've seen it far better, like coming from the 10-5 days and other heads up series, how you see how certain things would kind of get carried away, kind of away from the spirit of the class to the point it drives people away. But it sounds like LDR is not doing that. It sounds like, I mean, they're going very, very quick.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they're keeping things well balanced and in check. So it's, you know.
I think so. I mean, we like to complain. I think everybody does when they get weight put on them. But again, it's just how hard you want to work at it, right? I mean, you could easily lay down and say, screw it. You know, I can't run with those guys, or you just put your head down and get to work. And that's what we did.
Gotcha.
It makes it more that it's not the car, it's a driver's class. And
it is. It is that too, because you can see that you have to be. I can tell you from from myself, it made me go back to the drawing board because two things. And I'll tell you, one, as a car is heavy. Ask anybody that drives a 3,400 pound car, trying to cut a light with that thing is like, it is not easy. So it got to me when I left the last race. We had a break, obviously, but coming into the championship race, which I called, you know, No Mercy, I put 100 to 200 hits on my car in the driver's seat on the practice tree just to get my game up to where I could go in there consistently go 40s and 50s. Because if you go out there and go 70s and 80s, it's game over. You ain't competing. Yeah, you're going home. I don't care if you go out there and go 383. You go 070 against these guys, you're going home.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Your only hope there is maybe they break traction.
Yep.
If you're that late on the tree.
Yeah, exactly. If they make a clean run, though, they're putting you on the trailer. You got to get up for the guys that you're racing. And I'll tell you straight up, we talk about this, and you can ask any of the guys that are in my class. We talk about you could almost do a chip draw. I say it all the time because every guy in our class is damn fast. You know, it doesn't really matter who you're racing because they're all going to chop your head off if you're slacking at least a little bit.
Right. I was getting ready to say, who's your friendly rival that you've run against the most most often it's just like you kind of roll your eyes every time y'all line up?
I'm so easygoing. I don't know. I don't really have a rival in the class, but
I don't mind.
but I mean, the guys that get you up, I think the guys that get me up the most to get on the tree and know that I got to bring my A game, it would be Chad Henderson. He's always tough. You know, and in Ziff, he may not be the most consistent, but his car is fast. Like, you have to get up on the wheel because he been at 81, right? So he can take you out at any moment. So you got to get up and got to cut a light. I think I went a 040 against him when I went to 384 in the semis there. And Shane Stack, like, same thing. He is deadly on the tree, and he keeps you honest, right? He's just one of them guys. You got to take him. And Hancock, same thing. He's stupid fast, and he's good on the tree. So again, I have a good rivalry with everybody, but there's 4 or 5 that make me stand tall when I need to.
Because I think Shane's been around this category is about the longest just about of anybody.
I believe so.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a long reputation of racing and that. And I love that Monte Carlo too. That thing is beautiful. But you know.
Well, it was a funny story about that. I'll tell you, the night we beat in that the last race that we beat Ziff in the semi, we wanted, they come over to the trailer and said, "Hey, can you turn this thing around? We want to finish this race tonight." And I was feeling it. My team was feeling it. We're like, "Yes, let's go." Like, we just went at 84. Like, let's go, you know, but he had to get both drivers to agree to that. And Shane couldn't get his car turned around in time. And I said either that, 2 things, either he couldn't get it really turned around in time, or he's a veteran. You know what I mean? He looking at, well, it's night condition. He just went at 84. You know, let's you know, when the team's hot, you put the ice on them, right? You call timeout. So, but we come in the morning with the same game plan, and obviously he stepped up. He come in there, and the sun was on the track, and he busted an 87 out, so he wasn't coming to play either.
Right. That's a veteran move, though.
Well, you can't blame him, right? You guys say, man, this boy's rolling right now, and it's a championship, you know, down to me and him for the championship. And I can't say if I was in his position, if I felt like maybe I didn't have, you know, enough to cover the other guy, maybe I wouldn't have done the same thing, but it all worked out.
Yeah. If I didn't have necessarily a night tune-up, yeah, absolutely, it's the same rules for everybody. So yeah, you call it like it is. So.
Yeah, that was fun. It was good.
Yeah,
it would have been nice to celebrate that night though, instead of the next morning at 10 o'clock in the morning having a couple Coronas. You know.
Oh yeah. You would have liked to do it the night before, but you know.
Right, I've been feeling worse the next morning though. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I know, but no, you held off, so that's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, you still celebrated.
Yeah.
So what does it feel like to be able to, you know, win that class championship, that world title?
Man, I tell you, I'm still coming off the high, to be honest with you, because it was a bucket list when I started this team in 2023 with that white Mustang, getting my feet wet, kind of getting, you know, acclimated to the class and everybody in it. And obviously me and Jamie and the team working together. But to look where we started, you know, and to where we're at now, winning the championship, like, I felt like we were close last year. I'll be honest with you. We had a car that could compete. We really got good at the end of the year. But it's almost like I pinch myself all the time. I kind of go back and look at the videos like, man, did I really do that? You know, because it's like, that is a tough class to win. I mean, it really is. And coming into this year, thinking about, can you go in there and repeat? Man, it's going to be a dogfight every round, every race. And it's tough to say if you can or can't, but I feel like if anybody can. We have the team in the car. And I think we're really in our sweet spot right now. So I think we got a good chance to come back and repeat.
Yeah. One of the things I want to mention real quick is that, South Georgia Motorsports Park, their crew, because we didn't even know if the No Mercy event was even going to take place after Hurricane Helene had went through there and all the destruction. And I got to my hat's off to them for them working hard, pretty much around the clock, clearing things. If anybody doesn't know that there was a canopy over the gas pumps, it got ripped off and threw out there in the pits. And Raul Torres, man, what an effort by him and his group to be able to get everything sorted out, cleaned up, and have y'all pretty much roll in 2 or 3 days later and get set up.
Oh, 100%. That we didn't know. I mean, we didn't even have our people coming down with us, didn't even have hotel rooms coming into that race because there's no power and obviously the debris everywhere. And we didn't know, honestly, what you just said, we didn't know coming down there whether we were going to race or not. And the other thing was, if the race went off, how was the track going to be with all the rain and the water? And it was like so many unknowns. But man, they did a tremendous job with the track prep. They did a tremendous job getting that place, up and going for that race. And, we owe them a ton of gratitude for that.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the track, Greg. I know I've been there at South Georgia Motorsports Park in the past before Raul took it over. And if there was a lot of rain, we would have a big problem with weepers, down the track. And I was actually at an event where we had some weepers, and a guy ended up putting a car in the wall. And so, again, I was worried about that aspect of the event. Is it going to get warm enough? Are we going to have a problem with weepers? But I tell you, and they've done a great job of prepping.
100%. The debris coming in there, driving, obviously down there and seeing the debris and devastation that we were coming into was it was a little bit of reality check for us coming down there, and knowing what that town, and that whole coast up there had gone through. It's tough. It was tough on those people down there, and we had some people come over to buy shirts from us. Not that it makes that much difference, but how much we owe you, and I'm like, owe me nothing. What these guys have been going through in the last couple of weeks or whatever. If a t-shirt puts a smile on your face, I'm happy to be the one doing it.
That's a classy move. That's a classy move. Just like Mitchell said about Raul with South Georgia, something else they were doing at the same time is they had a part of the field open as a staging area for electrical crews coming in, electrical companies coming in to stage their equipment to help in the communities to get everybody back on power. So like I said, a top-notch crew and a very, very classy move. But you got me curious. Now, in the background, I know you can't see it. I got LDR racing going on right now. But I'm curious how, and you don't have to say it now, how quick have you gone? Okay, how quick have you gone legal LDR trim, and what kind of 60-foot do y'all typically have? And now, like I said, you don't have to say it if you don't want to say it.
I'll just tell you that we've been 980, 60 foot with our car. And, we've been fast. When we ran 84, I think we went 1009 or 101. I can't remember exactly now, to be honest with you. I had a little thing going on. I wasn't looking at the time slip. It was working, so I didn't want to jinx myself. Yeah, but we've been 980. We've been 980, 60 foot with the car, 990, but we've been as fast as 980 with it. I think we've been 257 to the 330.
At 300
at 3365.
Oh my gracious, dude, that is sick.
Yeah, that mile an hour, that was our fastest mile an hour. I mean, we went 199.82 there. At first, we went 199 and some change, and I didn't know if it was, I'm like, I don't know if that's a real number or not. And then we went 199, I think 72. Then we went 199, 82. We kept going a little bit faster, and I'm like, G meters up, yada yada yada. But either way, whether it's real or not, it was just that was a fast pass. 84 on the boards as far as at a race, that was our fastest that we had been at No Mercy there.
See, I thought you were 3,100 pounds that you did a 980.
No, I wish we did we've been 980s, high 980s with the car a few times, and at a couple of different tracks, but a lot of 1.0s, a lot of 1 flat, but yeah, I feel like we got a little bit left in it if we had to. I think I call Jamie Firefingers, if he has to get in there and do a little bit of, and then he can probably spice it up a little bit. But
love Barrow.
Yeah, we just try not to that whole weight. I tell everybody man, that car's heavy. I'm like, yeah, y'all need to pray for us. Y'all need to come over here and push this car around the pits and tell us about how heavy it is. My back's hurting right now just thinking about Orlando pushing that car around.
I don't even think about that. You got a point. Yeah, that's what you need the crew. That's what you need the crew for, is just to push.
Well, I see Zip now. He's a pretty good sized guy, but he's pushing his car around like a go-kart in the staging lanes. I got like 16 of his crew and my crew on the back of my car pushing up the lane.
Well, if people's never been to Orlando Speed World at the drag strip, talking about the lanes of going up there to the water box, it feels like it's almost a quarter of a mile just to travel in the staging lanes to get up there. So yeah, if you have to push the car, that's a lot of pushing.
I can tell you, if we got to push it that far, we ain't gonna make it. We're gonna be late to the call.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You're gonna have the push cart up there getting you all the way around there. So.
Yeah. 100%. We need 2 push cars to go uphill with that thing. That's for damn sure. I had to retire the smart car and buy a Mini Cooper because it wasn't no. That hill at South Georgia was plumb wore it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing with people that's never been there. They don't realize that little short entrance to go up at the top of the lanes. That'll catch you off guard, especially if you're coming in from the through the pits to make the tight right versus coming around the back of the pits.
Yeah, the spool hits and about that tight right. That spool kicks in. Smart car just like making noise, but it ain't going anywhere.
You see nothing but smoke, no action. You're
exactly.
Like,
it's smoking. It's smoking like you done burn a piston.
Yeah, yeah. But the good thing is, you know a guy that could take care of that as far as another vehicle or a dealership. I think you know a guy or two. Yeah,
we know a couple people.
So that's good. But I tell you, I'm just still amazed by just on a 295 tire, 3,300, 3,400 pounds. Okay, with a 140 Pro Charger, to be able to put down times like that is mind numbing. I like that better. More I'm talking to you. I like that more than RVW or anything like that.
It's just more impressive. I think what you see, I'm building the Pro Mod right now. I don't know if everybody knows that, but we're gonna dabble with that a little bit. It kind of intrigues me for other reasons, but the thing about LDR is it's people can relate to it in the stands, and they can relate to, man, my neighbor's got a 69 Camaro. He lives right next door. And that car just went 199 miles an hour. And then you see an RVW car come up. It looks like a funny car in theory, So people expect those cars to go fast, but they can't really comprehend it like they can when they see a Hubbard Nova or, a new Challenger like Rob Goss's car, or Henderson's Grand National or my Camaro, or, people can relate to that body style because it looks more like a normal car. And I think it's more impressive in some aspects than what RVW does. And them going 340s. Hell yeah, that's impressive. But I think a car like mine weighing what it weighs and goes 380s, I think that, to me, in my personal opinion, that's more impressive.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would totally agree with you on that. Now, did Mitchell ask you about your nickname?
No,
he kind of mentioned it a little bit offline there, but so my nickname is I've had it probably since I was early 20s, is Richie Rich, but that goes back from my street racing days when I was doing things I probably shouldn't have been doing in towns that I shouldn't have been doing them in, but
nothing incriminating.
But anyway, that's how I got it named from a bunch of people, obviously, in the street racing days years ago.
I got you. Now, you also have a YouTube channel, do you not?
I do. Yep, I do. Turbo Richie Rich is my YouTube handle. I get on there with some of my exotic stuff and some of my street cars. I get on there and do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and post them up on there. I got a pretty good following on there. I don't do it as much as I probably should have. I just don't have time, but I do something every now and then just to kind of keep the channel alive, keep it going. Got some exotics on there that I've done some draggy pulls on the street with, and some of the cool cars that I've had over the years.
That's cool. That's cool. So we encourage everybody to go on there to Turbo Richie Rich on a YouTube channel and on his YouTube channel and subscribe and join and follow. And,
appreciate that.
You know what I mean? Back him up. I mean, and I've seen just a little bit of his cars. I hope to see it in person, but my gracious, that thing is beautiful. And I want to say House of Colors is the orange color.
Yep.
Okay, but I can't remember the name of it from there. But it looked like something right out of the catalog. But it might be a custom mix or something like that.
Yeah, it was. Alan Pennywit put a custom mix together on it, and it's kind of like a pearly tangerine.
Atomic.
Yeah, it's a cool color, and it's different that you don't see. It's something typical color that you see all the time, and I think that's kind of separates it a little bit from everybody else.
Yeah, because it definitely jumps out under lights. That's for sure. Flush. But I mean, I can go on and on about just little things that I see and admire. But but tell me something. What is it that you do? Because you're a very busy man.
I actually, I do a lot of stuff, to be honest with you. I know we talked a little bit offline, but I mentioned about softball. Yes. I did that for about 15 years. Played some softball, played some co-ed, some men's ball, did some coaching back then. And then my wife played softball in high school, actually. And that's kind of what got me going into it, is because she was inspired by the game and loved it. And then my youngest daughter, Paige, which helps with the race team. You guys see her on the starting line all the time. She is just at the ball fields all the time with me, and just like wanted to get on the field, and it just kind of went from one thing to another. I started coaching her at a young age, and we traveled like we do with the race car stuff. I mean, from California to Michigan, from Michigan to Florida, about every state. And we traveled at a high level, a D1 quick caliber level. I think I was telling you offline, I can't even tell you how many kids I helped get D1, and D2 scholarships all over the United States. And it's the same kind of thing. It just, my kid graduated, went to school for a softball scholarship at Central Michigan. I got kids in Oklahoma, Michigan State, Kent State, you name it, all over, and in Florida State. But I started coaching, even kept coaching after she graduated and went on to college. And graduated college, I was still coaching. I just retired last year. And same thing. I think we were ranked 11th in the United States in 16U division. And you're competing against the best, in just like we do with the race car stuff. It's really the same kind of level. And then I was doing offensive hitting for probably over 100 kids. And I was doing defensive camps, again, at a D1 level. That was time consuming, but it pays well. Obviously the money there is extremely high, but again, trying to do the racing and doing that. And the wife said, okay, you got to pick one, it's time to, you can't do both. You're never home. So I gotta, happy wife, happy life. So I gotta, I did that for a while, and now I'm back to doing the racing, but I dabble in the muscle cars. We talked about that. I dabble in some exotic stuff. I do a lot of buying, collecting, selling, trading, building. I kind of do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and I've been watching you on Facebook. You also like to climb up in that stands and hunt some whitetails. Yeah,
well, you can see them in the background from the wood. I'm in my camp. I'm in my property down in Illinois right now. I need to come down here, get a little downtime between races, to kind of that time of year, climb up in the tree and chase those big whitetails. I've been an avid hunter for a while. Actually, my wife's dad, he got me into hunting when we started first dating back in high school, coming out of high school, if you can believe that. And here I am down here hunting and chasing these damn whitetails all over these mountains down here.
It don't matter if you get one or not, you're having fun, right?
And that's it. I just had an encounter with a good 4-year-old 2 mornings ago, and just needs to grow up, but it was an encounter that was important, Right. It's not always about harvesting. It's about just the time in the woods. It's peaceful. It's a little bit of, you can kind of reflect back, and I can't tell you, I haven't watched my flow racing or straight line media video 54 times in the tree, just kind of reliving all that, because it happens so quick. You try to take it all in, and you got to take a week or two to kind of reflect back on all of it.
Right.
I know I used to go hunting, and I would absolutely it gets so peaceful, I'll fall asleep in the stand.
Yep. That definitely can happen too.
There's something to be said about that. I don't hunt myself, but like I told you, I love being outside. Love it being outside. So yeah, like you said, man, I'd be up if I got up in the stand. If it got peaceful enough, I'd just knock out and be happy with it. But
something about the Midwest, I don't know what it is. I get out here and the cutting of the corn and the beans, and it's just easy living out here. Everybody's so polite, yes sir, no ma'am, open the door for you. We're out in the boonies, I call it. We're about 25 miles from town, but when you just drive into town, it's a small town, but it's just, I don't know, it's something about it that's just peaceful when you drive in there and meet people, and just everybody's just nice and happy and easy going.
There's something about peace in it.
100%.
Something just about it. Like Mitchell and I talked about, we got family to live in Western Carolina and small towns, and Kentucky and small towns, and I tell you what, I love it. Absolutely, can't wait to when I retire to move somewhere like that.
I tell my wife that all the time.
Near a track, of course. I got to be near a track. But
Well, that's it. I mean, where I'm from, we're out in the country, but we're like 5-10 minutes from the city. It's like it's just busy, 100 miles an hour all the time.
Right.
And you come out here and everything just slows down a little bit. And you can kind of regroup. I call it.
yeah,
Enjoy your days without being bothered.
Yep.
That's the most important thing.
absolutely.
100%. I totally agree.
So go ahead, Mitchell.
I got a question for you. So,
All right.
You've been around racing pretty much all your life, around cars.
Mhm.
Have you ever thought about racing in another sanctioned body, say like NHRA or PDRA?
We've talked about PDRA. I know Jamie and we have mentioned the PDRA Pro Street class. We've talked about that class a little bit, Pro Boost a little bit. The Pro Mod that we're building right now, actually the car is at Jamie Miller's right now. It's being finished up. We're going to try to debut that car, shooting for the first of the year, try to get it out, get some seat time in it. But we're going to make it to where we can run Pro Mod. There's a lot of Pro Mod stuff out there to race 8th mile. And then I wouldn't mind dabbling that car into RVW a little bit on radios, just because, to see, how I like it. The big tire, the floppies, believe it or not, I've never been on a big tire in my whole life. It's been small tire racing since day one.
Really?
So everybody asks me that all the time. They're like, "You ain't never been on a big tire?" And I'm like, never.
Well, yeah, I didn't think about it, but yeah, 10.5W. Yeah, you're right. I mean, even though it's 31, 33 tall, it's not that wide compared to the others. Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued about running it on the floppies. Just because I know the cars move around a little bit, but not so much worried about that. It's just getting in there and driving it and getting the seat time in it. And then I definitely wouldn't mind putting it in RVW trim a little bit and see how it does. It's hard not to get excited about those classes because of the money. If I had one negative thing to say about LDR is there's not enough money. I think that the class that deserves way more money. I mean, the guys spend the same amount of money to run LDR as they do RVW. It's the truth. It really does. I mean, I don't think the LDR class gets the money that they deserve. Pro 275, they're getting 20 to 25 grand every race. And I'm not saying they're not worthy of that. There's no reason that we're not getting minimum. If they're getting 25, we should be getting 20. If they're getting 20, we should be getting 15, or at least something close to that. I know Duck has done a good job trying to get up to 10,000 and all that, but that's not enough money. I mean, in just my personal opinion, that the class deserves more money. These guys we travel all over the world to get there, and we're committed to the class. And however we need to do it to get more money for the class, I think it needs to draw more money. I think the class is worthy of it.
Well, if any companies are out there that's going to watch this now, or they're going to watch it later, and they're interested, hey, I think they should call Duck and say, hey, we'd like to bring more money to the game if you can promote our business in this fashion. So if there's a company out there that would like to do that, they need to get a hold of Duck.
Yep. And actually, Radial Outlaws needs y'all need to call Radial Outlaws, okay? And y'all need to be the title sponsor for LDR. Okay, whoever that is out there listening to this needs to call and get involved. Because just like what Greg was mentioning, the caliber of cars that are out there, and the caliber of people out there, and this Heads Up Radial Tire series is amazing. Okay, got a huge following, got a huge clientele. So and stretches out to a lot of people. Like we said, he runs. How many races are in your series? Is it 5 races?
We had six this year.
Okay, got 6 this year in this series. And there's other LDR races popping up at different places between Bradenton and Orlando, all through the Carolinas and the Midwest. So there's many others. So, but we encourage everybody to get involved and to reach out to them. Just like you said, I did not realize. I honestly thought that what I saw with the purses were closer than what you just described. And you're right. No. If it costs you the same to run this as it does an RVW, then
well, look at Orlando coming up, for instance. The payout for Pro 275 is 20 grand. It's 7,500 for LDR.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then in X275, and I'm not discrediting them at all because that's a tough class as well, and they got a good turnout as well. It's 7,500. And there, it's just one of them things where I feel like we're taking the back seat. And I've talked to, we've mentioned it to Duck, and the racers are always consistently talking about it. And I just feel like the class has the biggest. 99% of the time, we have the most car count, and we have one of the least payout.
Really?
Yeah. That's the only negative. And it's not that the car count ain't there. It ain't the support's not there for the class, because the class, it's got a ton of cars always coming in there. It's just a deal where I think however you need to do it, get a title sponsor on the class, raise the tech card up a little bit, help give some money back to the racers or whatever it takes to do it. But the sponsorship's obviously the best way to go at it. And it'll be a great opportunity for whoever is watching this to step up and be a head sponsor for that class, because it's a class that has got a ton of following.
Right. And I think it's very important for those companies not to just sponsor the class, but those companies need to come out and witness what y'all are doing and the reaction from the fans as well. And they will see that the following's there. People's going to see that title sponsor every time that y'all make a Q run, or as y'all are going in eliminations. They need to come witness it. And I think that's one of the things that companies have gotten away from. They sponsor and they don't actually know what they're sponsoring. If they would get out there and see it more,
hands on,
their wallet a little more as well.
Oh, I agree. Look at the starting line when LDR comes up there. I mean, it's just as packed. I mean, you got to do a burnout through a crowd of people. It's just people up there just flooding the starting line. And, sometimes they have to stop the race. El Tucci's like, we're not going to run these cars until you guys clear the starting line. They're always having to plow people out of there because, it's a heavily followed class. And not that the other ones aren't, but LDR is every bit or more. There's every class in there, and they're getting chicken feed, I think, for the amount of money we spend to come race.
Yep, I see what you're saying. And it reminds me with Stevie Jack, speaking of around the start line, packed up around the water box, in Ducks races in past. I can't say about now, but I remember Stevie Jackson talking about, because obviously him coming from a grudge world and being crowded on the start line, and he was always terrified about people crowding on the water box. And the guy told him, says, "Hey man, we got 10 on the line or 15 on the line. See how many you can carry to the 60 foot. Let's do it." And he goes,
That's true.
And he always joked about that. He did not obviously intentionally do anything like that, but just to hear him say that in that no nonsense way that he tells a story, and I'm like, and that totally makes sense. So, people will clear out. You got business to take care of, and you obviously handle it. But I'm glad several racetracks are starting to get a better handle on that. Just not only from the safety aspect, but just from a fan trying to watch.
Absolutely.
And up there at No Mercy, what I did see this year, they brought in barriers, and they put them up in the center of the track and on the sides of the wall to try to keep more people back, which I think is a great idea. A lot of people, they want to be up there and they don't understand the danger is not always down the track. The danger can be right there as you're doing burnout. You can strip off your lugs, and a tire can pop loose and pop somebody sitting up there against the wall.
Oh, well, the prep. Look at the prep. How many people you see walk out of their shoes? They get stuck. It only takes one person to get stuck and fall into the lane of the burnout. And boom, one of us are going to run them over. And that's what I worry about the most, is that you get people that are not ever been up there. They want to experience it. I get it. But man, it only takes one bad accident to happen, and everybody go, well, damn, we should have done something about that.
Right. If they want to experience it between qualifying sessions. When they're before they bring out the next one and everybody's up there checking the starting line. That's where you experience it if you've never have. Just like you said, because I mean, I've seen people fall over and their shoes still stuck, feet still stuck, socks.
Oh yeah, walk right out of their socks. I think that big square, that podium thing they used to have between the water box, they took it out of there. But I think that was, that might have been a little safer than people standing on the starting line falling over in front of you.
it put them up above the cars.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it did protect them in case a tire did come off or you blow an engine doing a burnout. I mean, that can happen as well.
Not on that Pro Charger. Not on that
No.
Pro Charger. You're gonna see how many hats you're gonna take off. With
Well,
Pro Charger.
I mean, you've seen Stevie Jackson do that coming through the water box. Boom, and, buzz the throttle real quick and not hats flying off. He's done that a million times.
And yours too.
Yeah, the zoomies will blow some shirts up.
I'm like, going, man, it can't be all zoomies, but what is the deal with Pro Chargers? I mean, I see some with just straight collector setup, and those are the loudest setups.
Oh yeah, they're loud. They're definitely loud. I don't know if they're any louder than a screw car or a C rotor car, but they're damn loud.
Yes, they are. And I'm like, for the life of me, I don't quite understand why. Zoomies get it. I get it with that.
Yeah.
But just in general, and I just don't know if it's because the gear mechanism in the supercharger or whatever. But
I don't know what it is. I know I went from driving turbo cars, and I'd have the earmuffs in the helmet, to now I wear the gel earplugs, so I can close some of that nose off and still hear my crew guys, when I'm backing up or whatever. But it got to where my wife, I'd be driving home when I first started driving this Camaro. She's like talking to me in the big rig, and I couldn't hear her. And I'd be like, what? And then, she just kept going on being nice. And finally she's like, are you deaf? We got to get you something different for your ears, because you get out of that car, you can't hear for the 2 days.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And now it's much better. Now I get the earplugs, the gel ones in it, and it really helped a lot.
I got you. Now tell me what management control to use, like Fuel Tech or something?
Yeah,
like that?
we use the Fuel Tech FT600.
Oh, okay. I think that's pretty much the one of choice for a Pro line setups, is it not?
Yeah, I mean that's what Jamie's really good at using. He can use anything, but he prefers that. So when I sat down with him to build this whole combination, him and Jimbo, and we sat down and talked about what we're going to build and what combination we felt would be the most competitive and most user friendly. And I had Fuel Tech in the Mustang as well, the one that I debuted at Lights Out in 2023. But he loves Fuel Tech. He just thinks it's got a lot of tools to be successful with, and it's easy to maneuver through. He likes to use it, and he has several customers that he uses it on. So
yeah, I've heard people say that about Fuel Tech and a couple other companies, but I definitely have heard that. Mitchell, you got something?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I tell you, tell me something, because obviously the purse goes without saying. Okay, but what changes would you like to see in LDR? Not necessarily immediate, but future.
Obviously the purse. I'm a kind of guy that is if they change the name, or not even change the name, I maybe retract that. I thought maybe we go to Outlaw 295, right? Call it Outlaw 295, but because the LDR was, originally established by Jason, Pooch, right. And he had a strict set of rules, and the class has surpassed those rules, as we all know. But right. I would like to see him release a little bit. Let us go, let us run. Here's my thing. I'm kind of talking out both sides of my mouth here, so bear with me. But I get it, and okay, I understand that not everybody can go out and compete at the level that the class is at right now. Okay, I understand that. Where we are in the world today, right? But in saying that, the class has not gone without. As far as car count goes, we all agree on that, right? In the class, and I think it's stepped up. Even the guys that I felt that were maybe financially struggling to keep up, and they're worried about losing those. I don't want to call them class fillers, because I feel like I'm disrespectful, but the class filler cars that are getting in the class maybe for the first time, or that are coming, the class is close to their hometown, and they're coming out to try to compete and see where they stand. I get that, but the other side, the competitive side of me, says I'd like them to release the reins a little bit on all the combinations and let the class get into the high 70s, if you will. I don't want them. We don't have to run up behind Pro 275. I know they're concerned about having some separation between the classes, and so people can relate to that, per class and how they run. But give us a little bit. Let all combinations. Let us run into the 70s. I mean, we got cars that can do that. But, not at 3,400 pounds. You know what I mean? Right. So, and I mean, again, I'm talking about all combinations. I mean, I just think I like to see him release the reins a little bit on the class. And because I think the class, and maybe you guys agree and maybe you don't, but people follow the class when it's exciting. Like, okay, think about it like this. RVW goes 340s, right? Everybody's jaws dropping, right? Oh my God. And they talk about it for 2 weeks. If you slowed RVW down to go 370, is anybody talking about that class next week? They don't want to watch that. Not when they've already seen them go 340s, right?
Exactly.
So that's the same thing with LDR. It's like, let them keep letting us go a little bit, give us a little bit to go faster and not penalize us when we do. I think the class, because everybody's on the edge of the seat, like who's going to run an 80 or who's going to run an 81 or who's going to run a 79 or whatever it may be. It keeps the draw, keeps the excitement and people following the class. Right. Slow LDR down tomorrow and go 4 flat, or you get, DQ'd or whatever. Now, that class will die out. Ain't nobody going to follow that.
True.
Okay. I see what you're saying. To keep the excitement level up.
Yeah, give us a little. We're always grinding, trying to find an edge. Every team in this LDR class is doing the same. And yeah, you don't see drastic improvements, but you see little stuff. It shows you a little bit, trying to get an edge up. But that's it. I like the class, and that's just me wanting to go faster. That's it, Right. So easy thing for like Duck or somebody to say is, well, go run Pro 275. You know what I mean? I get it, but I just love the class that I'm in, and I love the people that I'm racing with, and this is my opinion on it.
So you think it'd be pretty good if they would say, this year we're going to go ahead and we're going to let y'all take an extra 150 pounds off the car.
Yeah, whatever. Just give us a little bit to
see how everybody fares and see if it's still pretty close for everybody, and it's a driver's race.
I think there's an opportunity to let the class go a little faster. And I know, and they're worried about, like I said, it's like there's 32 cars. They're not really so much probably worried about the top 16. It's more of the last 16, if you will, that are, that they're concerned about. Well, if you go out and go 378, that 402 guy ain't going to show up no more. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I get it. So I'm talking out both sides, but for me as a competitor, I'd like to see the class go a little bit faster, or being able to go a little bit faster and not be penalized. That's what I'm worried about. If you go out and go, an 81 or an 82 or an 83, are they going to slap weight on you again? You know what I mean?
Carrying an extra 25, 50, whatever it might be.
Well, the cars are, think about it. 3,340 pound car. We go across the scales at 3,360. That thing hits a wall at 200 miles an hour. It's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, it can't handle much more weight in the SFI. I think 35 and some change, or 36 is max something. I know you're not there yet, but still, you got to keep that in mind. And I'm for lightning vehicles versus adding extreme weights in this. And then you got me thinking, and I'm not saying this is a solution, but as far as car counts, if there would be a way to bring 275 x 275 into limited drag radial on a balance scale, running on your tire, etc.
I think there's a few cars. I honestly think there's a few cars in X275 that could compete, in the limited drag radial for sure. I mean, you got the White Rice, right? Eric LaFair, that car's flying, and you got him, you got the McCains and that Corvette. There's a lot of cars in that class, that I know of that are fast that could definitely get in there and compete with LDR if the rules, were.
And I was thinking, combining the purse, you know what I mean? I call it LDR. For example, run a 295 tire, take like 100 pounds off of non-full chassis cars like yourself, and put 100 on full chassis cars. It's something to balance it. You know what I mean? Just an idea.
Yeah, I mean, even if you could even, I don't know if you just reinvent the wheel at all, but if you did an outlaw 295 and you say, okay, boosted cars are 3,200 pounds, right? And on a 295, then you got nitrous cars weigh, I don't know, I'm just throwing the number out there, 2,800 pounds, you know what I mean? Or whatever. And anything pretty much goes, and let them get it. You know what I me?
Just an idea. I'm not, like you said, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
No, I just something to talk about. Yeah, I get it. I'm all about change. It's just a matter of, trying to help everybody, not just one combo.
Agreed.
Well, you talk about your class. If like I said, if they took 150 pounds or 200 pounds off of all the cars in that class, everybody's going to be faster.
Oh, I agree. And it's safer.
Those 4-second cars, and they're going to have a really good chance of running in the 390s, 380s with that extra weight off of there.
I agree. And in the cars that are heavy, the twin turbo cars, the Pro Charger cars, I mean, they're just going to be a safer program, all the way around.
Right. It'd be better all the way around, just getting weight.
Absolutely. No, there's no doubt about it. And then again, nobody wants to see anybody ball their car up. But that's one thing that we talk about all the time. It's like the cars are so heavy. And we've considered going to Pro 275. Trust me. I know it's easy just to go screw it, pull the weight out and go jump in that class and see how you fare off. But I don't think we have to get, a bunch of ET added to our class, or just keep the class exciting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
In small increments that keep people being interested in it.
Yeah. Well, if you go out to this year, and what I'm saying is, in the class, nobody goes faster than 85, 86. Nobody. It's just that's the class is kind of like just hit a wall.
Right.
The class will still have excitement, of course, because it's great racing. But I think that people will start to realize the class is like, that's it. That's as fast as they're going to go. They want to see that envelope always getting just nudged a little bit.
Right. But they don't want to see it blown away.
No.
You want. I mean, if you got 2, 3, 4 cars, 5 cars, whatever, and they're all knocking on a 81 where the record's an 82 or an 83. I'm just using that as a number. You know what I mean? Like you said, it keeps it exciting and it just goes back and forth. And I'm for it. I mean, that's stuff I like watching.
Well,
yeah, me too.
And you are able to actually see maybe the record get broke several times throughout the year.
Agreed. And I wouldn't mind seeing points for that. To be honest with you,
I'm getting ready to ask you that if they do have points for records, but I guess at this point they don't, right?
And I know that people have asked about it and they've talked about it. I don't know if they've ever got everybody together to kind of vote on it, if you will, but I know that people have brought it up. I know I've brought it up is hey, if somebody breaks a record, is it worth something? I mean, maybe a round of points or something,
Right. I like that.
Or some money.
Or if it ain't worth points, it's it's a bounty on it,
Yes. I think.
Remember the old Mickey Thompson days? You remember that?
Yes.
When they had like the first 6-second car or 7-second car back then, it was like I think it was like 10 or 20 grand for the first car that could go up there, and they didn't even care. Like I remember NMCA days, we were running Super Street, and I can't remember if it was. I don't remember what the record was now. I broke the record back when I ran Super Street because I was the first car to go 759. Joel Greathouse had the record at 761. And funny story, he was in the burnout box behind me. And when I went 759 in Atlanta Dragway, he was honking his horn and had his arm out the window, fist pumping. And that we broke the record, first car to bust into the 50s. And 2 rounds later, Matt Scranton went with the turbo car, went a 755. And we actually met him in the finals that race. But anyway, there was a bounty. There was a bounty on it. I think it was like 10 grand back then to go, first car could go 750 or whatever it was. But put a bounty up. Doug's good at promoting stuff like that.
That's exciting because you see people practically running over each other to get to the head of the lanes. I mean,
Absolutely.
There's no delaying when they call you to the lanes. Zero.
No, and that's just what I'm saying. You could do some cool stuff like that. Hey, first LDR car to go out here and go 370 something. It's a free shot at the track, and a bounty, because people want to see it done. It just entertains the crowd, entertains the racers, and in Duck, he has the foundation to be able to do that and just promote that. Hey, there's a bounty in RVW for the first car that goes this number, or Pro 275. You can do it for every class, and it just people will jump on board with that. I think sponsors included.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's a smart marketing.
And especially, it's being all televised by Flow Racing. So
exactly,
if people are not at the track to see it, hey, they're at their home seeing it. And it's very important for those sponsors to get their names out there. Hey, if 1,000%. And I try to buy from those sponsors that support our racing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got it on national, basically national, live coverage with the Flow Racing there already. So you already got it on the forefront of everybody will be able to see it. Mm-hmm. And that's going to make people want to come out and watch it in person. Oh my God, there's this massive bounty in this class or that class, or it ain't got to be make it like, okay, lights out. It's going to be a bounty for our RVW, you know, then maybe Battle of the Thrones. You got a bounty for, you know, LDR, you know, or whatever.
Yeah,
and just push the pace a little bit.
Yeah.
And go ahead and let everybody know. Don't mean to cut you off, Robert.
No,
but you know, there's people, man, they come from all over the place to come to No Mercy and Lights Out. I mean, you drive out there in the parking lot, man, you see tags from Texas, Oklahoma, New Orleans, the Carolinas, New York. I mean, there's a lot of people travel down, or they hear about it, and oh man, we got to stop in here. We got to stay here Saturday night, and we got to watch these cars run.
Absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely.
That you're right about that. Now you said that you're getting ready to come down south here again to go racing. And then also I think you're going to run Bradenton in December, and then for the Snowbirds, and then run a New Year's again at Bradenton and stuff like that. What kind of maintenance program do you have on a vehicle? Which I know it's nonstop. Okay. But I mean, is it like every 50 runs, you got to replace the rods, every this, every that? I mean, I know you have a systematic approach to this.
Yeah. So, some guys run more runs than what we do. Jimbo pretty much handles my engine program. Jim Waits, he's been with me since day one. So we try to run about every 25 runs, valve springs. We change valve springs. You know, lifters, it just depends on, you know, but we try to run, you know, 50 to 75 hits, sometimes maybe 100. It just depends. But, you know, we can keep it tight. He's on that motor. Like, I can't even tell you, like, he is on it like big time. He catches stuff. And I'm thankful for him that he's on it and catches it early enough to where if we have something starting to fail, we have parts, right? We have a abundance of parts in the trailer. But rods, we change rods. You know, it's kind of if we're in the middle of a race, we might go 31, 32, maybe 33 hits before we change rods, but we try to change them around 30. Okay. You know, tires, we change tires. You know, every race we put new tires on the car, so we usually make you know, 15 to 18 hits on a set of tires, and then we're swapping them out. You know, but we're always maintenance and like pulling the converter out, transmission. You know, we try to go about every 45 runs. We put the transmission in a box, send it back to Mickey, and have him go through it in the converter and make sure all the run out and everything on that's good. Cranks, you know, depending on same deal. We try to put a crank in it every, you know, I don't know, 100 runs. I'm just giving you a rough guess, but but we you know, blowers, you know, same thing. We got a little bit of help from Pro Charger this year, which we're super grateful for. Any help we can get, obviously, is a bonus. But they helped us with the Pro Chargers this year, and so we do about every 28 to 32 runs. We get the blower off, send it back, just have them do a quick look at it. You know, we change the blower oil every 2 rounds just because that's what protocol they want us to do. So we're always on it. It's a you know, it's continuous. Got to stay on it. You know, if you get lackluster and we'll go 4 or 5 more hits, and that might cost you something.
Yeah,
right.
Catastrophic damage.
Exactly. We actually had a lifter. We had a lifter starting to fail at No Mercy, believe it or not. And Jim, like I told you, he's OCD about that motor. That's his baby. And he, you know, the valve latch changed very little, and he's like, and he didn't even think about it. I mean, the intake was off. Him and Johnny Miller were on it. Boom, boom, boom. You know, the guys, Redhead Mafia, jumped right in there and, you know, and got it out of there before anything was bad. And obviously, like I said, we have abundance of parts in the trailer for these guys to be able to do that. And you have to have that to run for a championship. Otherwise, you get home, you know, you get sent home, you know, if you got parts failure. But we make sure they have the parts in the trailer to be able to do the maintenance they need to do.
You know, and, you know, a lot of people, they go to NHRA races and they see the work performing in the pits. And one of the things I think that people can relate to your car compared to cars that run in NHRA are the pro mods and the pro stock cars. Their protocol, how they go through things, is pretty similar.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, Jamie runs a pro team over there at NHRA. They're fighting for a championship this weekend over in Vegas with Chris Thorne's car, and he's already been a champion. Mm-hmm. So that mentality that Johnny and Jimbo and Jamie Miller have, that you know, really overlays right into my program. And that's again why I reached out to those guys and wanted them to be a part of my team from day one, you know, a few years ago, with the ultimate goal is win the championship. But I've watched them, from afar. I watched their how they perform at race day and between rounds, and just, it was different than I used to race at. So it was a little bit of a change in climate for me and in environment. So I had to adapt to how they do things, which I feel like I'm a better racer now because of that. They've even brought me in and said, hey, we got to do this different, that different. And it was definitely a little bit of a change, but it was all a change for the better.
That's good. That totally makes sense. Build a winning team.
Yeah, and that's tight ship. We try to run a tight ship and repeat, rinse and repeat, and just making sure that everybody's doing their job, and that's what makes, a championship team, is everybody pulling their part. And that's what everybody asks me, like, what was the one thing that stood out this year about the championship that was different? I said, it just this whole championship was a team effort. It really was, starting with Jamie, leading the team. I mean, he was the head guy in charge, but everybody did their job, and did it when they needed to, and we come close to winning some races this year. Just for one reason or another, we had an injector failure to cost me a race in the final, red lit in the final, just little stupid stuff. It was always stupid stuff, but that's just part of what makes you hungry, makes you get back up and go, okay, next time we get in there, if Jamie made a mistake on a call, he's the first person at my pit to own it. If I come out and I red lit, I let the team down, I come out of the car, I don't make excuses. I just own it. I screwed up, I let go of the button too soon. And we never hold, any grudges or anything like that. It's just everybody's held accountable and everybody pulls their part, and here we are.
Yep. Look at what happened and move forward.
It's a funny story. I said at the beginning of the year, if somebody asked me, what's a fairy tale season look like for you, or something along the lines of that, and I said, if I could write the perfect story ending from our season, would be go into No Mercy and win it and clinch the championship all in one race. And it all came true.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, yeah, you wrote that pretty good, didn't you?
Down to the last round, believe it or not.
I know it. Yeah, it's like, gee whiz, you couldn't paint a better picture than that.
The pressure, oh my God. And the side of the bracket, I say it all year, we never got an easy side of the bracket. It was like just killer after killer after killer. Like, dang, we didn't get no breaks. I mean, we couldn't catch a break. And I said that, you know what? Actually, Jamie said it in my trailer. He goes, well, the bracket is what it is. The destiny is in our own hands now, and we just got to go out there and take care of business one at a time. We ain't got to worry about somebody else doing it for us. We got the car to do it. We have the team to do it, and we're just going to make it happen.
Yep. To be the champ, you got to win.
Well, it makes it where nobody can discredit you. Like, oh, well, you had 3 broken buys and you got to the final and he spun the tires against you. Well, you had it gravy licked. We had to put it down every round, and that's pressure on my whole team. That starts with Jamie to everybody in my team to go up there and have to perform, 5 perfect rounds and to pull it out.
Yep. Yeah, that totally makes sense. You earned it. Bottom line is you earned it. Nobody gave it to you. Nobody laid down. Obviously, no easy runs, and you earned it.
But we did have one help. I will say my teammate, Steve Halpern, he debuted a new car, and they were shaking some bugs out of that, and he's trying to get acclimated into that new car. But he had a tough customer with Rob Goss, because Rob Goss coming into them, that race, he had a shot at it too. I think he was sitting 3rd in points, and Steve happened to draw him first round. And I believe, I don't know if Goss had trouble or spun. I don't remember what it was, but Goss has got a dominant car, in he's been dominant all year, and so when we got that round win, Steve in a new car, he got that round win. That was massive for us too. So that was, we did get a little help there from our teammate, which was big.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, he threw down.
Yeah,
threw down. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, it's not like somebody took a dive or something like that. It's not.
Oh no.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about that. But it's just like
it's good. I always say when you win a race, you're supposed to have a lucky round, right? I didn't get any lucky rounds, but I did have a little bit of assistance there with the championship with my teammates, so that was good.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that's obviously got to fall your way. You know what I mean? But luck is when preparation and opportunity meet. So
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And you are, like I said, we've all said, you've earned it. And just to hear the maintenance program, it's kind of like whenever I've heard some of the no prep keen cars and some of the other stuff that run pro line combinations with Pro Charger. And it is almost verbatim exactly what you just said. So to hear what you talked about earlier, as far as comparable to running a RVW car, maintenance and expense and stuff, I'm like, he's not kidding. Just comparing notes, and I'm like, gee whiz, I can't even imagine. And so you'd like to take the gloves off. You'd like to take several hundred pounds off the car.
Well, I'd love to do that.
You know what I mean? Stretch it out about 5-10 inches. Just saying. Okay.
Yeah.
And put the big 140 on it. Okay. And let her rip on a 315.
So that'd be great.
Yeah. I figured you gotta say that.
I tell you what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to reach out to Duck and see if we can get him on here before No Mercy. Lights Out. Get him on before Lights Out and talk to him a little bit. We might pop in a couple of questions about the opportunity of bonus money for records being broken and stuff like that. And
that'd be cool.
Just see what he thinks about it. Of course, I know the major thing's going to be, hey, we need a sponsor for it.
Right.
To make it happen. But, we want to get him on and ask him some questions like that for y'all's class and for other classes. And like you said, man, he is a great promoter.
Yes, he is.
I know No Mercy. No Mercy has a lot of people, don't get me wrong. No Mercy has a lot of people come out and watch. But something just about Lights Out, man, it is like quite the crowd at Lights Out. And,
I wonder if the crowd at No Mercy wasn't a little bit affected, obviously, by the hurricane. I think that kept a few people back. But yeah, I agree. Lights Out, I think it's the beginning of the year. People get that, especially us up northerners, get down into that warm weather. Everybody's flocking to Florida. Let's go.
Yep.
Georgia, wherever it's at, like, let's get it. Get some warm weather on the skin and go watch some racing. They're all been hoarded up all damn winter.
Exactly. I mean, no snow on the ground. Let's get this going already. So I'm with you, but I mean, I like to see your car. What do you think your car in a quarter-mile combination and a quarter-mile setup could run?
Man, I don't know. Honestly, I think Jamie ran. I want to say he ran Manny's car at
World Cup.
I want to say when Brown was driving, Antron, I believe it went 570 something. I think in the quarter mile.
Well, okay, so he was driving that Mustang then. Oh,
yeah, Antron Brown was driving it at World Cup when they won down there. And I think it was like 570s. I don't hold me to it, but I think it was like maybe 60s, but I think it was 570s at like 250, something like that.
Right, because I was getting ready to say your combination, your car would be really cool at a World Cup setting, and others. Okay, but I mean, just being that it's the granddaddy quarter mile of all things with doors.
Oh yeah, no, it's chaos down there, but say the least.
I've watched so many videos. Mitchell, we got to go to that one day because that is insane. And,
actually, I want to reach out and see if I can get us some media credentials for a couple of those races that are coming up. Unfortunately, we won't be able to go down to Orlando in 2 weekends. I actually have to live stream a race up in Gainesville, the Fall Brawl that same weekend.
Okay.
So won't be able to make it there, but looking forward to making it to some other events down there around Bradenton, and also be at Lights Out for sure.
Yeah, that'll be good. And Snowbirds is going to be good too. I haven't never been to Snowbirds. I didn't go last year, the year before, but we are going to go this year. Jamie had mentioned that he wanted to go down there, so we're going to make a debut down there for our first time and see how we do.
You haven't been to Bradenton yet?
I've been to Bradenton, but I haven't been to Snowbirds.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you haven't run Bradenton, I'm like going, man, that track is on point. So,
yeah, we lost in the final to Goss on a hole shot. This first race at Lights Out there at the, I think I went at 386 something, and I think he went at 387 if I remember right. But he got me on the tree, and so that was a long car ride home. Damn it!
Be glad you can't hear right then, right? It's like going,
yeah,
we're good with that.
I had a few choice words in the car when I got down to the end. Trust me.
Well, we all are. Anybody that's competitive, you're your worst critic. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So my
team, I tell my team, don't hold back on me. Let me hear it. I need to. It keeps me in check.
Well, yeah. I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah, my father will keep me in check. I don't have to worry about that. My dad will keep me in check, and my wife too. So, yeah, I mean, my kid Mitchell too, and everybody else. So it's good.
The class will keep you in check along with it, because them racers in that class, like I told you, you got to get your mind right when you're racing this class.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Killers.
Absolutely.
It's a pool of sharks.
Yeah, exactly. But I tell you, everybody that's out there listening to us tonight, thank you for coming on here for On the Spot Motorsports Media and listening to Mr. Greg Blevins Jr. It's been a great conversation. I love this, but I want people to know, how can they reach you? How can they reach you to work with you, to partner with you for the LDR champ?
Send me a message. We're always looking for sponsors to help the class and help the car and our program. Send me a message on Facebook, and reach out to me. And there's a lot of people I'm easy to get a hold of. And, I will say we did pick up a major sponsor this year. I wanted to give him a shout out, and that's, Charlie over at Super Abrasives. They come on board this year and really helped our program. And we wouldn't have been able to do this without them. So we want to definitely send them a shout out. Again, Proline for our building our engines, hands down, have been class act in getting us parts and building a badass an engine program. Mickey out there at M&M Trans, again, we couldn't do it without him. He's on it. We need parts. It's Damon and Mark are phenomenal to deal with, and Troy and all the guys. Skinny Kid building the car, he did a phenomenal job. As a lot of people know, his cars are super badass and tastefully built. Fuel Tech, Pro Charger again. Raven and the guys over at Pro Charger for all the help this year with the switching from the F3s to the F4s. It's a big purchase, and they really stepped in and helped us with all that. And we really appreciate those guys, and don't want that to go without notice. And again, Modern over there at Modern, them guys have always, Justin and all the guys over there always get us in when we need something done, or keep our truck and trailers there. Anything we need, they just handle it. I mean, they've done a phenomenal job. And I'm so OCD about my car. I don't even like handprints on my car. I don't go to the starting line with fingerprints on my car. They're calling us to the lanes. It don't matter. We're wiping this car down. We're not going up there with dirty fingerprints. So they treat my car with the same respect that I do. And honestly, that goes a long way with me. So I appreciate those guys. And obviously VP Fuels and, Mickey Thompson Tires, they're a big part of our program as well. So, but any help, God, please reach out. We are not, we're not too proud to ask. We could sure use it.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody, when they attend these races and they see those banners and stuff that are supporting y'all, please, man, if you need a part, look them up. If you don't need any parts, look them up, buy a hat, buy a T-shirt,
right?
Buy some rags from them. Whatever you can do to help contribute to this program, just do it. I mean, what's $25 for a T-shirt, $30 for a hat? I mean, it really does go a long way.
It goes a long way.
It does, and we sure do. We sure do appreciate it. And when we get people come by and buy shirts from us, it helps. It doesn't seem like it would, but when you sell, 50, 60 shirts in a weekend or 25 shirts in a weekend, that little bit helps with fuel and, tickets getting in and out of the gate, food and, and expenses for the crew, flights and hotels. And it's an expensive, week when you go down to a duck race, and people don't realize how much it truly costs. But to race at this level and have the best of the best, and you got to have it, you got to spend the money. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So everybody out there, we want you to reach out to the champ. We want you to join his team. As you can tell, he's got a long list of marketing partners that he works with. Okay. And with a team and a car that is second to none. I mean, clearly I cannot wait to see this thing in person, because pictures do not give it justice.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is jaw dropping. Okay. And I'm like, and he's right now that you mentioned it, as far as just watching videos you pulling off at nighttime and daytime, different races. And like, you're right. I don't recall seeing handprints all across the windows and smoke marks down the side. It's like going, no, now that you mentioned it, I don't think I ever saw that. And I'm like,
well, it's funny because we got a little saying in my car. When I'm in the car, my doors shut literally with a click. You can just shut them with a click. And, you get amped up, you get caught in the moment, and, and you're running around and last minute moving weight, or, Jimbo's running around the car, Justin struts or whatever. And he'll get excited, turn the chutes on and radios on. And he'll just, he's a big guy. So he'll give it a little extra incentive on the door. I'm like, did you just slam my door? I'm in the car getting ready to go in a burnout box. I'm like, Jim, what? Don't slam my door. I just don't slam my door. I'm getting ready to go out and race for a final or something. I'm like, why are you slamming my door? So it's just we have a bunch of little sayings like that in our camp. But that's just, that's how I am about my car. I don't like my car, fingerprints on it. And I want it to present, like you just said, you got a sponsor that's potentially looking, you come up there, it looks like you got 64 fingerprints all over the car. We bring microfibers to the staging lane. So I got half of my racers crew pushing our car because it's so heavy. I got them wiping it down when they're done with the fingerprints.
Yep. Hey, it's your car, your rules, and I agree with that. I agree with
exactly.
That. Presentation's how it is, and
yep.
We want, like I said, we want everybody to reach out to you, to get involved with your team, to get involved with LDR, and I can't wait to get out one of the closer races and take a look, because what I've been watching for years, the cars are beautiful and the competition is amazing. So we encourage everybody, reach out to him. And also follow his YouTube channel, Turbo Richie Rich. Follow that, subscribe to that. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
Got to give a selfish plug there too, But we want everybody, and we appreciate everybody that's continuing to follow us and subscribe to On the Spot Motorsports Media, both the Facebook page, YouTube page, Simpson Competition on my pages, and it's really appreciated. Little things go a long way. It's like
absolutely.
You taking the time to come out of your stand, come out of your stand and come talk to us. Because let's face it, you could have just said, "Hey, man, can we delay this? I'm in a good spot, good moment." You know what I mean? So,
No, I appreciate the invite. I definitely do, and I almost got caught up there with the time frame being different. I'm like, wait a minute, what time we going live? I got to get out of this tree. And I'm on 120 acres of farm. I had to get off the tree, down the side of the hill, get on the e-bike and get back here to make the show. But I wasn't going to miss it. I'm a man of my word. And I'm appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, I tell you, if you would have got you one, we would have delayed it for you to get that deer out of the woods. I promise you that.
I appreciate that.
You might be asking you to send us some backstrap.
Yes.
Do that. We send you some jerky.
Yes, I'll be down with that. Oh my!
No, that we can send you some jerky. That's for dang sure.
Yeah.
I want to say one more thing before getting off here, though.
Yeah.
I want to send a special thanks to my wife, putting up with the racing for all the years that she's done that. She's a big supporter of our team. Cooks, cleans. I mean, she's running ragged for the guys in the trailer and anything they need. And, a lot of that goes unnoticed by a lot of people, but, it's those little things that you think, expected. But she's a huge supporter. And I can tell you in the racing industry, if you don't have that, it's tough. And you're gone a lot. You're gone. And you got to have, she loves it. You can see her on the starting line in the video. She's jumping up and down, is about as animated as you can get for, a wife. But and my daughter, she's been a huge fan and big supporter, and she puts me in the beams, at all the races, and she just gets ate up for that. It's like a return favor for me coaching her all them years. She gets to get she's animated where she, if we lose, she's probably as mad or more mad than I am. She's mad as a hornet. And
she gets you all pumped up on the line. She get up.
Oh yeah, she looks in that car like, you better get up on the wheel, and she's like, she's coaching me now. Like, I don't know how to do it, but it's all right. I listen to her.
Right.
And then I just want to tell Jamie Miller, if he's listening or watching, and I can't say enough good things about him. The guy is, I call him Fire Fingers for a reason, because he just comes through and he is a master of what he does. And the team that he surrounds himself with are the best. I say it all the time. I said it on Flow Racing a million times. These guys, I don't have words for them. I'd be honest with you. They're that good. And I'm just like, we got all the belief in the world. I put them up against anybody and they'll prevail. And Jimbo and Johnny and the whole entire Redhead Mafia, again, best in the business. I appreciate them. I want them to know that.
Absolutely. I think I'm going to repeat what you said. A lot of people don't on here acknowledge their wives for all the sacrifices they do. I know Mitchell's wife, makes a lot of sacrifices for what he does. My wife does too, clearly. Miss Blevins does also. So we would appreciate and we thank all the wives out there and husbands that matter that support that support all the racers and their family members. So it's really appreciated. So that's class act. I agree with you 100%.
Now my wife may cut her eyes at me if we're at a theme park and I said, hey, we got to sit down. I got to write a little article real quick on this before we go on to the next ride. Sometimes she'll look at me a little sideways.
You're not supposed to say it, Mitchell. You're supposed to leave it, man. I gave you a softball. What are you doing, man?
Exactly right. Exactly.
Miss Nikki was going to be smiling from ear to ear when hearing this. And what do?
Messed it up.
I ruined it.
Yeah, leave on a high note.
My God, that's funny.
Oh, well, what you going to do, right?
That's funny.
But yeah, it is what it is. But
I look forward to meeting you guys in person at one of the races. Come up, hang out.
Absolutely. We really look forward to meeting you in person. Hey, by the way, are you going to be going to PRI or anything like that?
I don't know about that. I've been trying to get out there, and I can't say for sure I will or I won't, but maybe.
Well, being that you're LDR champ, I think Pro Charger needs you in your booth. Just saying. Pro Charger.
We can make things happen.
There you go. I'm just saying, if you want a car representing, there you go. So anyway, I'll leave it at that.
I appreciate that.
Not going to go on and on with that. But Greg, listen, buddy, we so appreciate you coming on here tonight and taking the time and talking to us and having a good time. And like I said, we wish you nothing but the best, and we hope you win out from now on.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you guys for having me. And I'm looking forward to, again, meeting you guys in person, and we'll see you at the racetrack.
All right. Sounds good.
We definitely should be able to see you at Lights Out.
Yes.
I'll look forward to it.
We'll see you soon, buddy, and I hope you have a wonderful night.
Thank you. You guys too.
All right.
Take care.
Yep. See ya.
See you, buddy. Bye.
Bye.
Oh man, what a great show tonight to have the champ of LDR on, talk about a little bit about the rules, talk about this car all the way down the pro line to the chassis to the paint, and we got to find out a lot about him personally. That his life just doesn't evolve around racing for years, but he also helped coach softball and help kids become recruits to Division I colleges.
That was amazing. I had no idea. And that he did that and did it for so many years. What do you say, like 15 years?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? High tier college softball, D1, D2 training and traveling and all. I'm like, wow. He was telling us behind the scenes. I was just shaking my head going, oh my gracious. That's intense. That's intense.
And what a great ambassador for the LDR class as well.
Agreed. I totally agree. Very well spoken. Very, very good representative of the team. You know what I mean? It's great. It really is. It's great to like I said, to hear the behind the scenes, hear the maintenance, hear the teams, what the team has to do to put themselves in a position to win. And like I said, it just nose to the grindstone. But I also like the way that he complimented everybody, complimented all the racers, all the different combinations. You know what I mean? And you know how it is whenever you race with people. You know who you're racing. You know who they are. You know what they run. You keep tabs of it. That nobody has to say it. You know it.
Right.
And
so, and talk about maybe changing the rules a little bit here and there so they can actually pick up a little bit in ET and mile per hour to keep, the spectators interested in that particular class.
Agreed.
I think that's a good idea. I think it's a good idea also for bonuses for records being broken. But like, again, just need sponsors to be able to come out and watch it, to let them see what they're actually putting their money toward. And I guarantee you, companies come out there and they see what's going on and they see the fans in the stands, how many come out there and how their logo is going to appear to them for them to start buying their product, hey, it's a great opportunity.
It
Great
is.
opportunity.
It's a great opportunity to join a championship team, first class team, but also, like you said, to get involved with LDR. And there's other classes too, but LDR is an exciting class. And to hear, like you said, the explanation on the rules, on why it's so appealing to so many people, and it's so appealing to, like you said, to people in the stands, like us, fans on the outside looking in. And he's absolutely right as far as you recognize them. You know what the vehicles are. They don't look like pro mods. They don't look that. They give you that more street car vibe, basically.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they do. And just, if you haven't been, and you live in Florida, Southern Georgia, it's not that far of a trip to drive down there to Orlando in 2 weeks and watch these cars perform. You will be totally amazed at the raw horsepower these things produce.
Yeah. Just, it's unimaginable to me. When you start hearing just how much horsepower they think they have based on fuel consumption and all that stuff, it's just mind numbing. But you start looking, a 3,400 pound car running 380s right at 200 miles an hour with a sub 1 second 60 foot on a 295 tire is, wow. That's a whole lot of physics going on right there. That's some bad hombres right there.
Well, I just want to remind everybody, this weekend, the Ford Performance Nationals is taking place in Las Vegas. We have a gentleman that me and Robert raced with, Bart Pat-Gillian. He's on his way out there, and he's had a little bit of trouble on his trip, and we're hoping that he gets it all squared away and he shows up to race the other division winners out there for a championship. I mean, it's a great honor for one to win your division. It's even better when you go out there and you walk away with the trophy for your class, the Wally at the end of the day. But also speaking of the Ford Performance Nationals that's taking place, John Force is actually going to be there in person. Just awesome news that was released earlier, or actually later last week, of him going to attend. And of course, I know probably the reason why he wants to attend this, because it's very possible that Austin Prock will wrap up the championship and funny car before even headed to Pomona. If things work out mathematically and he gets the bonus points and the qualifying runs, I think it's going to happen. And there's a bunch of other classes that's coming down to the wire that are pretty close, and they will not be finished until Pomona, and that's Pro Stock Motorcycle, and Top Fuel. I mean, it is tight.
How many championships does JFR have as a team?
I believe they have in funny car titles. I want to say they have 20. 16 of those are John's. Right.
But okay, 20 is a funny car, and then counting Top Fuel, what, 22?
Yeah, I think Brittany has 2 over there.
Okay, yeah, I knew she had 1. I kept thinking she had 2. Okay, so 22 world titles under your team's belt, and like you said, you got 16 of them. You got the lion's share of it. That's that's amazing.
Well, something. If something goes sideways and Austin doesn't qualify or first round, and Jack Beckman goes up there and he takes the win, it's very possible it'd come down to Pomona, and then actually John Force can still win the championship that way,
right?
And that's going to be pretty remarkable in itself, because this will be the first time that a driver has stepped in and drove as an alternate for someone due to an injury in the class. So a lot of things happening there. Pro Stock is an all-out drag race, no pun intended. Dallas Wynn and Aaron Stanfield, just just awesome racing all year. And you can't count Erica out. Mathematically, she's still there.
Right.
And they're going to a track where she's really good at. She has won quite a bit of Wallies there in Las Vegas. And a lot of people are saying, I see on Facebook, that that's their pick. They believe Erica is going to pull one out this weekend and throw a wrench into the whole championship point. So we're going to be really fun to watch.
Well, I can see her doing that. And I mean, but that's what she's obviously capable of doing. I mean, 6-time champ. I mean, you do not get that by laying down, you know, or rolling over or anything like that. I mean, you get that by putting your nose down and just keep grinding and working. And nobody takes her slack. Nobody does. And I know she doesn't take anybody else slack either. But like I said, I mean, yeah, you never know. That's why you run the race. That's why you do it. You know what I mean?
And that's why she's a 6-time world champion.
Exactly. And it's like back on Funny Car, if something messes up and Beckman runs the table, okay, then that changes the final look going in Pomona. And then, you know, game on. That's a possibility. But like I said, that's what makes good racing.
Just looking at how well that team has performed all year and all the wins that they have had, I really think Austin will pretty much seal the deal in Las Vegas. If not, I see all he would have to do is just, you know, make the field and qualify.
Break yeah. No, I'm with you. Like I said, consistency wise, they've been there, you know, and that's what it takes. I mean, you got to have your consistency, and they've shown that. And like I said, they're a championship caliber team, and they've been there, done that, so they understand what it feels like and the pressure of it and stuff. So, yeah, as far as if I was a betting man, pretty good odds on.
I just want to remind everybody we've been working behind the scenes, and looks like there's a possibility that we're going to have Paul Lee that drives Funny Car and Krista Ballin that drives Top Fuel join us on the 14th of November. So we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be a really great time because I think SEMA's wrapping up about that time as well. And we're going to dig into quite a few things with Paul. Of course, we're going to talk about his companies. And we're also going to talk to Krista Ballin about the things that she does, not only for her racing career, but all the things that she does behind the scenes for Paul Lee, because, you know, those photos and videos and all of that stuff that you see on Facebook, she is the creator of that content. And so we're really looking forward to that.
Absolutely. I would definitely look forward to this interview to learn more about them. I've been fans of them for a while, and that is great. And we have other things we're working on behind the scenes, trying to get lined up, not only people, but events and some other things, which would be pretty exciting if we get it worked out. Again, everybody, I apologize for the technical difficulty that apparently I had, because literally everything worked all the way up until we went live, and then nothing worked. So I apologize if it messed up anybody trying to hear as far as feedback or something like that. Mitchell, I had everything muted on this end. Everything muted, disconnected, you name it, and you were still getting just terrible feedback to the point that I disconnected myself and went a different route. So I apologize, everybody. I know it happens, but man.
We do this thing live, and those type of things are going to happen. Hey, yep. My mouse at the beginning of the show, I'm sorry, the intro was not what it's supposed to be. My mouse just didn't want to work, and so I had to go a different direction and try to save it. So I want to apologize for everyone for that. But you know, we're all human. We're all working with stuff made by man, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. And you know, I want to remind everybody we will be live streaming the Fall Brawl. That's Rob Reynolds and Tim Goolsby is putting that race on. hey, if you have not secured your entry, they still have some entries open.
Yep.
So I would jump on that opportunity as soon as I can if you want to race that event. And it's a really good event. It's put on very well by them too, and of course the great crew that we have at Gainesville Raceway. And we're looking forward to live streaming that. This will be I think the second annual one. And if you're not racing, you live in the area, hey, come on out and fill the stands. Watch some good racing.
Absolutely. You can follow us live on the Spot Motorsports Media. You'll be able to keep up with all the racing action. But absolutely, I mean, we want you to come out there. There's box, no box. And it's a 32-car field for no box. The winner of the 32-car field moves over into the 5th round of the box race, the big race, to run for the big purse. And I tell you what, it's going to be exciting. Last year was a great race. This year, looking more the same. The weather's looking like it's going to be good and excellent. So, like I said, everybody come on out there, come out and support the race. Support the Fall Brawl, Gainesville Raceway, and all the advertising sponsors.
And also, just a real quick shout out before we go. Congratulations to Dave Connolly for winning the box class at South Georgia Motorsports Park last weekend.
Yep.
And also Gage.
Yes, Gage Birch.
Gage Birch, man, he is on fire this year. He
again.
Probably got a lot of eyes on him. He's doing really well in no box. And I tell you,
the man ran himself in the final.
Yes. Yep. Took both entries to the final. Yes. It's unreal.
You can't ask for a better day. So congratulations to you too, Gage. I mean, well done as always, but my goodness, man. And
he's even getting recognized by pro mod drivers. La Barnett the other day, someone put on there, hey, who's the best at bracket racing right now? And La Barnett goes, Gage Birch.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And I don't think anybody would argue with that either. I mean, what can you say?
Yeah, we're going to actually try to get him on one of our podcasts as well and talk about this season and how well he's done and the big money bracket races.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great to talk to him. And, like I said, phenomenal driver, phenomenal racer, and his whole family. And, absolutely looking forward to it. And like we said before, everybody, we thank you so much for supporting On the Spot Motorsports Media on our Facebook page. We're continuing to grow. But also we ask you to, if you don't currently, but to go out and subscribe to the YouTube channel, On the Spot Motorsports Media. We're working on increasing that. Now, this interview right here will be uploaded to not only you'll be able to see it again on Facebook, but it will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. So we encourage you to go on to that, to listen to it, subscribe to it. But also, we want to thank Redline Oil for On the Spot Motorsports is Team Redline Oil. We want to thank you for them for their encouragement and continued support. And we're looking forward to some other announcements upcoming here pretty soon for next year. But also want to thank everybody that's helped us at Simpson Competition on my Facebook page and YouTube channel. Once again, it's encouraging and we appreciate it.
And Robert mentions YouTube. I think it's very important if you want to watch the live stream of the racing events is to do it through YouTube. You'll be able to sit at your house and watch it on your smart TV, and I have to try to watch it on your tablet or your phone. And plus, Facebook only allows 8 hours of live streaming straight before they drop you and you have to re-upload. So by going to YouTube, you'll never miss out on any of the racing action.
There you go. And by subscribing and clicking on the bell, so whenever a new video is uploaded, it will remind you and you can listen to it. Like I said, it's encouraging and it would help us by doing that.
Well, everyone, until next time, take care.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and thank you.
reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.